Hey guys, welcome back to Raphaelsinsights. Welcome. I welcome you into the world of the esoteric, the divine, the beautiful, you guys. Oh my God, you guys, has it been a year? And it's been a tough one. It's been a tough one energy-wise because this energy has been bombarding me from like the minute we hit this year. It's like it has not left me. And the fact that the energy kind of picked up even worse towards the end, it's bombarding me even worse. It's like next year is going to be worse. 2021 is going to be worse in its own way, but it's also us returning to harmony. But before we get to that, you guys, thank you guys so much for everybody who follows me and believes in me and trusts me, you guys. I am so grateful that I found my calling, because you guys, before I felt like I didn't have anything like going for myself. I felt like I was just like there. I didn't belong anywhere. And now I understand why I don't belong anywhere. It's because I belong here doing this, you guys. I'm definitely grateful for the opportunity, the revelation that I had, the fact that I was chosen for this, and that I listened to, and I'm so happy that I listened to God and the angels when they came to me and they were like, back in November 2019, when they were like, hey, it's time for you to give your predictions. Because if you know my story, I was 22 when I had the revelation, and it wasn't till November 2019 when I was 24 when they told me to like, hey, it's time for you to say your predictions. It's time for you to tell them what you see. And I didn't understand why. I just knew that they wanted me to do that, and so I did it. And I am so grateful because this grew in a way that I didn't imagine. And now that I've opened myself up to this more and more and more, I see where I'm going to end up. And this is going to become so big, you guys. This is going to continue to grow, especially because this is God's plan and the angels' plan. It's not something that I just randomly chose. They put me on this path, and I know that they've already told me. Another vision that they've told me is that I am going to be, it's going to grow into something humongous, you guys. That this where we're at is not even close to where we're going to be. And it's beautiful, and it's nice to know that I'm doing this and it's going to go somewhere, but it's also scary. And you guys, I'm ready. And again, I'm grateful for every single one of you. And again, thank you guys so much for everything. You guys, one more thing before we go to the predictions, go down in the description below. Follow me on all my social media. Follow me on my Instagram, my YouTube channel, subscribe, my TikTok, my everything, you guys, everything you can follow me. Follow me, you guys. Again, I'm grateful for you guys. And my P.O. box is also down there because someone was asking me about my P.O. box. My P.O. box is also at the bottom. You guys can send me letters, packages, whatever you want to send me, you guys. I'm grateful about everything. And if you send me a question through a letter, it's going to take me a while to respond to you, but I will get to it, I promise. Again, you guys, thank you so much for everything. Let's get to the video. One of the cards that's going to be ruling throughout 2021 is going to be the card of the world. This card right here, the card of the world, what does it mean? It means returning back to harmony, returning back to peace, and returning back to our usual way of life. In this year, we return back to that. But it's not going to be towards the end of the year. It's not going to be towards like the end of the year going into 2022. 2021 is going to be whatever got started in 2020, whatever changes, political changes got started, it's going to move into 2021. So everything, like all the problems from 2020 are going to carry into 2021. So COVID-19 is still going to be there. COVID-19 is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Economically, everything's going to get worse before it gets better. I see the government shutting down again in this year. I see the economy break again in this year. But again, things get worse because it's about to get good. It's about to get better. So whenever your life gets tough, it's because something good is about to follow. This card here is also talking about four people of power that are going to get removed from power. This is also going to be the year of the female, the year of the woman, right? Women rights, women getting a lot of rights, women getting into power, being leaders, and being... That's why you see that Biden chose a lot of females in his team. Biden chose Kamala and his team because it is going to be the year of the female. In this year, I want to say Biden isn't going to last very long. I've already said it many times. Biden has health issues, and if you pay attention, he was injured from one of his legs, and the right one, I think it was the right leg. Whichever one it was, it still carries a lot of negative energy. So when your right leg is hurting and you have like a knee pain, or you injure your leg, you break your leg, it's brujeria. It's some sort of hex, some sort of spiritual work, or some sort of negative energy affecting you. If it's your left one that's injured, or you hurt it, or it's just hurting, it is more of a serious sickness that you need to definitely be watching out your health and things like that. And Biden, I did notice that he did injure one of his legs, and it does say that there's a lot of negative energy behind him. He is there to make amends from the things that he did when he was in power with Obama, and he wants to like mend that and make things right. So again, it is also going to be the year of the immigrant. Thousands of immigrants are going to come to the U.S. Thousands of immigrants are going to be able to fix their papers, and thousands of immigrants are going to be reunited with their families. And that's a beautiful, powerful vision that I have for you guys. The world is also talking about, with those 4 people of power, it does say that people are going to continue to be removed of power. This one here, since it's being ruled by the female energy, I do feel the death and I do feel it, and I do see it, that they've been telling me since last year that Queen Elizabeth's death is coming, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens in this year. So I do feel that, and more politicians, more people of power are going to be removed from power, which also includes the Pope, and the Pope does have something negative that's been kind of like clawing at him. People around him that manipulate everything don't want him to be the Pope anymore. So the Pope is definitely one of them that is included here with this energy of being removed. Politicians continue to fall from power. People in leaders continue to fall from power. Queens, kings fall out of power and things like that. So it's a beautiful year, returning back to harmony, but we're not there yet. Everything's going to get a lot worse before we get better. Another thing that this card is talking about is fixing relationships with countries, relationships that are broken, mending those bonds back together, peace treaties again, kind of getting to that point where we see each other from eye to eye again, because there is going to be a country that's going to be trying to start a war or continue a war, and it's going to get very bad, because I do see bombings, I do see terrorist attacks, and I do see that the catastrophes this year are going to be worse than last year. The sun's going to be another card that's going to be ruling. The sun, what it wants to talk about is the sun is going to be ruling, as in it's going to be a very, very hot year, hotter than last year. And it's going to continue to move like that until we make that change, because one, fires are going to be worse than last year. Fires are going to be absolutely out of control, since it's going to be hotter, since the sun is going to be ruling. Those solar flares are going to continue, and it's going to continue to affect our technology. It's going to start affecting our technology, and if we don't get smarter, it is going to continue to mess with us, and it's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. But one thing that I will tell you is that since the sun is ruling, there's going to be more fires. Another thing that we need to know is that the water is going to dry out. That yes, there's going to be less hurricanes, little to none hurricanes this year, but also little to none rains. Of course, in those places where it rains a lot, it isn't going to be like affected as much, but it's more in those places where rarely gets rain. It's like if you rarely get rain, you're not going to get any. If you get rain once in a while, you're not going to get any, or it's going to be very, very little, because I do see us in a drought. And that's one thing that this card here says. And it does say that it affects crops, and there's going to be problems with crops as well. Something else that I see is problems with crops in this year, whether it's some sort of like a new disease that's affecting crops and things like that, because I do see some sort of a disease that's affecting the crops and affecting the plants, and that's something else that I will tell you. With the sun, it also says that since it's ruling, there's going to be very strong earthquakes. It's going to be the year of the earthquakes. Last year was the year of the volcanoes. This year is going to be the year of the earthquakes. Strong earthquakes, and more often earthquakes. So that's another thing that's ruling with this. This also says that we're returning to prosperity, abundance, and that lots of luck in this year. Not right away though, because again, things are going to get worse before it gets better, but we do return to happiness, peace, and harmony towards the end of this year, towards the end of 2021. But this year also, a lot of babies are going to be born. That's another thing that I have to tell you. Since so many souls were lost in 2020, a lot of babies are going to be born. So it's going to be easy for you to get pregnant. It's going to be like a record-breaking number of babies being born in this year. The card of the Seven of Cups is also going to be ruling. It's going to be that card for immigrants. This is the card that gave me the vision that it's going to be immigrants, the ones that their desires are met. That the laws of immigration are going to completely change, that we're going to start moving into helping immigrants again, to getting here, crossing over, to make the system a little bit easier for papers to be processed and visas to be processed and things like that. It's going to take a couple months, but it's going to be the month of June. So the months that I see about this is going to be July, August, through September is when this change se va a dar. And this change is going to be the change of immigration, the law of immigration, where it's going to be very positive, where it's going to be to protect immigrants, to protect those who apply, to protect those and help those who apply to get their papers and visas. But everything's gonna change. This here says that everything is gonna change in from the political to the economical. Everything's gonna change. The card of the death. The card of the death it's a very, very strong card that's dominating this year as well. Lots of death is also being seen in this year. Accidental deaths. There's another card that's ruling is the card of the devil, and we'll get to that. But when that energy is there, it's lots of death, lots of catastrophes, lots of disastrous events. Let's just go with that. But the death card with COVID-19, even though the vaccines are out, it's still going to get out of control for some reason. And I'll tell you why it is. It's because when you're about to come out of something, it becomes the worst, and the worst starts to unravel. For some reason, COVID-19 is not going to be able to be controlled for a few months in this year, even though the vaccines are out. And I do see the vaccines being pushed more, being pushed faster, because they're going to lose control. The numbers are going to be skyrocketing. Even though they do whatever they need to do, they're going to be skyrocketing. There's going to be more strands of COVID-19. More mutations are going to be coming out. And this card also talks to you about, in the sense of death. Last year it was dominating more male. That's why we saw a lot of more important, more the death and the fall of more male figures. This year is going to be more female, like famous females that are going to pass away. I do see a catastrophe, either a plane falling with a female in it, or a very terrible car crash, some sort of an accident for this very, very well-known female. She's gonna be passing away in that sense. Just like everyone loved Kobe in that sense, now it's going to be dominated by a female death. And females are going to be passing away through this year. If you notice, it was more male figures last year in 2020. But in 2021, remember, it's the year of females, so a lot of females are going to be passing away in that sense. Another card that this is, another person that this is talking about, the Pope. The Pope has something very, very dark that's following him. When you have this following you, you either are going to die pretty soon, or you have some sort of a sickness or something. When it follows you in the way that it's following him, it's been following him since 2020, and it's going to continue following him to 2021. And there's some sort of a devastating, either he's going to get sick, but they want to remove him. And that's what it keeps talking about with this card and the Pope. There's something else that I keep seeing is a plague that wants to happen in 2021. Like stuff falling out of the sky, like animals falling out of the sky again, the water changing again, changing colors, either changing red. Another thing that I see with the death card is a plague that wants to happen in 2021. Whether it's a new plague or it's the bubonic plague, something's gonna relight plague-wise, not really virus-wise. It's more like a plague, because I do see. Remember, we religion, churches have been closed. We haven't been able to pray. People normally pray, like I've always said. People normally pray when they go to church, not really at their house, and no one's been going to church, so nobody's been praying. A lot of people have forgotten about God, the angels, the beyond, the divine. Even if you don't believe in the Bible, there is a God, and there is angels, and there is something divine. There's always good, and there's always bad. And with the death card, I do see that there's going to be like either birds or something falling out of the sky, animals falling out of the sky, fish, animals coming out of the rivers, the seas, being spilled out. And there's just this weird energy, this weird dark energy that we need to be aware of. And it's going to be more of like a plague, you guys. So definitely be aware of that, and be careful, because this can be like the new thing that's worse than COVID-19. With this card and the plague that I'm talking about, I see animals dead everywhere, outside of the seas, outside of the ocean, just animals falling. I just see a large amount of animals that just died, and nobody knows why. And unexplained deaths, and it's something that continues to be in my visions. Well, you guys, that is it. That is all the predictions that I have for you for 2021. I know it's going to be another intense year. The catastrophes are going to be worse. The earthquakes are going to be worse. The fires are going to be worse. The only thing that we won't see that much is hurricanes and a lot of rain. This is the terrorist attacks is one of the main things that I'm really worried about, because I do see people either bombing each other, missiles being shot at each other. I see a lot of terrorist attacks in 2021, a lot of violence in 2021, a lot of people attacking each other, a lot of that energy of like shootings, mass shootings and things like that. Just when the devil's ruling, anything can happen, you guys. He's whispering in everybody's ears and making them think that they're the ones that need to take control of power. And this is also for leaderships as well. But that is pretty much it. There will be a part 2, you guys. Thank you guys so much for everything. Again, follow me on all my social medias, and we're going to get through this next year as well. Again, this year, those who get through this next year, you've already made it through 2020, through 2021, all the way to 2022. You're going to be getting everything that you've been trying to fight for. Again, we're still in that energy of fixing things, and the angels of justice are still here. The judgment is still going to continue throughout 2021, but we're also starting to come out of that judgment and starting to see the outcome of all those changes that are going to give. But again, if you've been trying to get your papers, this is going to be the year for you. Do not miss this year. Take your opportunity. This is going to be it for you. You guys, thank you guys so much for everything. I'll see you guys for part 2. And again, follow me for all my social medias. I love each and every one of you. And goodbye. I'll see you next time.